Bruh, y'all have got to stop acting like Chris Brown ain't that nigga, man. The Brown album has arrived and we got to get into it. So I end up pushing this video back about a week because I just been observing the landscape. I haven't had much time to listen to new music releases this year. So I've been kind of taking time lately to catch up, put my ear to the streets, trying to see what all I've missed and what's to come. I'm curating a playlist for 2026 that I'll very likely be sharing soon. I'll keep y'all updated on that. But aside from the most obvious anticipated release, Drake's Iceman, this Chris Brown album, simply titled Brown, was stirring up a lot of talk on social media for the past week or so. And I knew I wanted to come talk about the conversations that were being had around it. But the album was slated to drop this past Friday, May 8th, so I figured I should just wait, give the album a spin, then maybe my commentary can be more complete. For some reason, the album was available a day early on my Spotify, so I sat in the crib Thursday night and just let it run. It's a total of 27 songs, so I didn't make it all the way through in one sitting, but I did manage to get through the first half. I'll continue to make my way through it over the coming days, but so far, it seems to be a cohesive body of work. It's been a while since I've heard an intro as good as Leave Me Alone. He doesn't start singing on this track until almost 2 minutes in. It instantly put me in the mind frame of one of those old school classic records that a lot of us grew up on, where they would let the band rock out for a few minutes before we get any vocals. I'm not sure there was a more fitting way to start an album like this for a tenured act like Chris Brown. He's pushing 40 years old. He's been in the game for 20 years, and his music, his sound, style, everything needs to reflect that. When I look at the album cover, this intro is exactly how I would expect this album to start. The cover itself conveys maturity, which was acknowledged by social media users who made comparisons to other male acts with similar poses on their album covers, most notably MJ's Thriller cover. So hearing the intro, coupled with the album cover, solidified for me that Chris was likely very intentional about this particular body of work. It's also worth noting, you can hear that Metro Boomin tag on the intro too. Metro's work speaks for itself, so I'm like, okay, all of this is just setting the tone, right? From there, we go into the second track titled Obvious. I remember hearing a clip of that a while ago. I don't think it was ever officially released as a single, but I like that record a lot. And I think it was a good follow-up after the intro. From there is Honey Pat, then his popular single, It Depends, featuring Bryson Tiller. Fallin', which is his most recent single with Leon Thomas. Hate Me, Call Your Name, featuring Sexyy Red and Glo-rilla. And For the Moment, which I'm guessing will be another single, as he just released a video for it last night. So that's the first 8 tracks, right? And I still listen for like another 5 or 6 songs, but as I stated, it's a pretty lengthy album, so I'm not gonna go track for track. But those first 8 tracks, really solid in my opinion. For the Moment didn't get me upon the first listen, but the video is crazy. That's why music videos are important, man. That shit gave me a whole new appreciation for the song itself. Call Your Name with Sexyy Red and Glo is a solid record too. I think I heard Tay Keith's tag on that, and Hitmakers in the credits. The production is there for sure, but I wish the girls' verses were a little shorter and we had another Chris verse or a bridge or something toward the end. But look, let's get into it because as usual, the consensus from the millions of music producers, writers, executives, and all around experts all across the internet, I'm being facetious, right? These folk couldn't write a song if their lives depended on it, but they can tell you, not necessarily what they don't like, because that's subjective, that's opinion. They're telling you what's not good music. The consensus from these people is that this album is not good. So let's entertain a few different reasons why they feel this way. For starters, in my opinion, Chris didn't stand much of a chance based on the response he was getting from the rollout. It was a very minimal rollout, but the use of AI in his visuals and marketing material was met with a lot of criticism. Some even suggest the album cover was created using AI. I can't really call that one. But let's take a look at this video they released announcing the artists that would be featured on the album, because this could more blatantly be AI.
Live tonight at the House of Brown, we proudly present a night of soul, R&B, and timeless classics. starring Chris Brown and featuring Leon Thomas, Tank, Vibes Cartel, Bryson Tiller, NBA YoungBoy, Glo-rilla, Friday, Sexyy Red, and Lucky Day. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Tell Breezy and company to come over here to AI by TC Studios. We'll get them right next time. We are obviously a studio that explores the different use cases of AI, and we strongly believe this is the future of production, be it music, media, whatever. This video is a prime example of a great use case. Do I believe it could have been better? Yeah, that's possible. As far as AI has come within a year's time alone, I still believe it's in the infant stages. So a lot of AI artists who are creating material like this for music releases or anything else are still perfecting their craft. The companies providing the tools to create AI-generated material are still perfecting their craft. So things won't be perfect in these early stages, any more than graphic designs were perfect in the early 2000s. I'm sure if you look at more complex material from back then, material that required more than a photo shoot with the artist's name at the top, it's very likely that shit wasn't always pristine, but it got the point across. So I commend Chris and his team for even being willing to utilize these resources that we know are more cost efficient, less time consuming, and still maintain quality output. Like, let's put things into perspective here. They obviously had a vision. They wanted a nostalgic, I would say, 1960s era thing they were looking to capture. How much would it have cost them on wardrobe, flights, room and board, a facility to shoot in, photographers, videographers, editors, and everyone in between to create something like this? How time consuming, or better yet, how possible would it even have been to coordinate with all of these artists and their teams to get them to come to one place and play dress up for Chris Brown's new album? The artists themselves probably wouldn't even deem it beneficial unless they were getting a fee for real. Nigga like YoungBoy probably ain't making time for it at all. So again, this is a perfect use case for AI. And I guarantee you, some of your favorite artists are sitting in meetings with their teams right now, coming up with all these grandiose ideas, trying to figure out how to garner the fickle public's attention for some new project or release. And they're discussing how to best use AI to get their point across at a much cheaper rate. The labels ain't handing out budgets like they were 10 years ago, guys. So not only was the alleged AI-generated video with the announcement of the features a point of contention, the features themselves were highly criticized, specifically Sexyy Red, Glo-rilla, and YoungBoy. Aside from Vibes Cartel, all the other features are R&B guys like Tank and Lucky Day. And a lot of fans have been longing for a pure R&B project from Chris for a while now, so there were no complaints about the singers being featured. Now, for the sake of objectivity, when I look at the cover and look at the marketing material, you got the whole 60s theme I just spoke about, but you also have them marketing this as an R&B soul album. So if I'm taking this at face value, this verbiage may lead me to believe he's about to really get in that pocket. So naturally, I'm not expecting to see many rappers on the feature list, but definitely not expecting to see Red, Glo, or YoungBoy. I think the initial disconnect is these are still more so the newcomers in the rap game that a lot of Chris's older OG fans probably don't gravitate to. So they were instantly turned off at the thought of them being on this album. And that's understandable. But let's not act like R&B, rap, and hip hop haven't all been intertwined in the culture since forever. Rappers on soft records, R&B artists on rap records, it's all common practice. And I don't think an album is any less R&B because of features like Red, Glo, and YoungBoy. And if you actually listen to those songs, Call Your Name and Red Rum, they are in fact R&B. So it's not like he got them on this album on a Look at Me Now type record where everyone, even Chris, is rapping. Remember at the top of the video I stated I wanted to wait and hear the album to give more well-rounded commentary because this was one of my suspicions, that everybody was being overly critical about these artists being featured, but I figured the songs wouldn't actually be that bad after listening. You know, all the track listing can do is give you an idea. Oftentimes you listen to the song and it's not what you would have guessed in the slightest. All that said, I still think YoungBoy is one of the worst parts of the album. but I like Red Rum enough to let his verse rock. Lastly, let's talk about the actual music on Brown. I gave y'all my take on the first part of the album earlier in the show. Now I want to highlight more specifically some of the criticism he's receiving around it. I think this commentary here just about sums up a lot of the negative sentiment you'll find across the internet. Pitchfork made headlines Tuesday morning by rating the album a 1.3 and taking the X to call it a real piece of shit. For those of you unfamiliar with Pitchfork, it's a music review and news website founded in the 90s that rose to fame in the 2000s and subsequent years. And at one point, its ratings would be significant in helping propel an artist's project and career, or hurt it, right? So I intentionally left the first comment in this screenshot, where an ex-user can be seen asking, what happened to professionalism? And this, guys, is largely a reason why I stopped being so critical of Chris Brown, especially publicly. The media. There's a trend and a shift that took place within the last decade, where the media became so blatantly biased towards certain artists that it's become hard for me to share any criticism, even if I deem it constructive, towards artists who don't benefit from these mass media biases. I just can't risk adding to narratives like this that seek to tear down black artists. I know my show is relatively new and we're still getting to know each other, right? But if you are looking for a show or a host that will spew destructive narratives and commentary about any artist, but especially black artists, I'm gonna let you know now, I'm not the one for you. I'm focused on bringing music, hip hop, rap, R&B back to its rightful place in our culture. And this type of pitchfork rhetoric is counterproductive to my mission. Are there things I felt could have been better on this album? Perhaps. Some of you made good points about Chris' vocals, his lyrics, his substance. But overall, this is a cohesive album that I can hear the intentionality behind. So I'm going to choose to highlight that. I'll be listening to the rest of the album throughout the week. I'm going to play what I like and skip what I don't. I'd encourage you to do the same. Learn all of the songs that you love right now, though. Stream them, buy them, share them, because Chris and Usher are slated to hit a city near you starting at the end of June. You have about 1 month. That's my time, y'all. We finally have an episode that's more than 10 minutes long. Round of applause for that. I can actually talk for hours, but seeing as that this is an experimental channel and we just getting started, I just been dropping little clips, getting some commentary off, testing everything out. However, I urge you to like, share, comment, subscribe to AI by TC Studios for content like this and so much more. This is episode 3 of Real Rap with DJ Deuce. Until next time.
Team Breezy. I know people want me to get on here and, say some sad shit, but fuck that. We kicking their ass, goddammit. We ain't letting up. I'ma keep my foot on their neck and we ain't stopping. You hear me? We doing this motherfucker tour. More shit to come. I'm not gonna tell you what's more to come, but it's coming at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck what these niggas is talking about. I know exactly who my fans is, and I know exactly who hearing this album. If you're not my fan, I don't want you to listen to my shit. Go listen to motherfucking Zara Larson or somebody.